You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, General Hospital fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt. I have a question for you. We've seen Esme Prince using Ace to lure Spencer Cassadine closer. Is Spencer going to betray Trina? I have reasons that I'm asking. We're going to unpack all of these. Of course, Esme right now is living her best amnesiac life in Port Charles, but we've got no ideas if her memories have returned already, if she's faking it, if the bad Esme is gone for good and the amnesia is going to be permanent. One thing we do know is that Esme is crushing on Spencer Cassadine and would like Trina Robinson to hit the bricks so she can have him all to herself. But will Esme lure Spencer into a misstep? Is he going to betray his girlfriend at some point? We're going to dig into all this, but if you haven't already, please reach down, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our GH updates. So for me, there are some red flags right now concerning Spencer Cassadine. First, he's shiftless, he's aimless, he's jobless, and he's spoiled. These are all the things that made Spencer such a bratty little tween before they did the Soros and brought in Nicholas Chavez, who I love. And these things are still going on now. I just think we don't notice it as much because it's coated in muscles and abs and gorgeousness. But the other day, Trina asked Spencer, "What's your 5-year plan?" And he got kind of bristly and bratty and acted like it was a job interview, and then basically told her his plan was to hang out and enjoy life. And then just a few weeks ago, if you remember, Spencer came to the gallery and he basically told Trina she was wasting her time going to college. The larger question that spurs for me is, why isn't Laura Spencer pressuring her grandson to at least take a few business intro classes at PCU? He literally has no career aspirations, no education beyond his pricey boarding school, which I assume he just got a high school diploma, no discernible life skills other than spending his trust fund. And of course, Spencer thought he was about to have all the Cassadine fortune at his disposal since Nicholas Cassadine was missing for 6 months. And after that, you're presumed dead for purposes of the Cassadine inheritance, codicil, and all that. But of course, Nick got out of his coma, got out of Pawtuck, and raced to Geneva to the Swiss banks to snatch it all back to make sure Spencer didn't wind up with the whole pile of cash. And this could spell trouble for Spencer if Nicholas, I don't know, decides to cut him off. Laura and Kevin are letting Spencer and Esme and baby Ace live with them, but that's not a permanent situation, right? What is Spencer Cassadine going to be when he grows up? And what about Esme Prince? She similarly had a trust fund, but that seems to have kind of dried up. She's also got no education, a teen pregnancy, basically. I mean, they haven't been specific about her age. I'm assuming she was 18 or 19 when Nick knocked her up. Maybe she's 20 now. So no aspirations, no goals, no career plans, but she does have a job. So in that regard, Esme and Spencer are kind of a perfect match because, you know, they're both just kind of treading water in life and going along. Spencer's excuse is that he needs to be there for Ace. But as Trina pointed out the other day, he's not Ace's father. He's his brother. And plenty of brothers see their siblings, you know, a few times a week, even on weekends, not 24/7, 365. Spencer basically wants to be Ace's de facto daddy and doesn't want Nicholas in the little boy's life. And Spencer and Trina argued over that recently because she thinks Nick should be raising his son and not Nicholas's son raising his other son. Of course, so far, Nick hasn't shown his face in Port Charles. I still wonder if he'll show up and grab the little boy to get him away from Esme, whom Nicholas despises. But then I also noticed the other day that Esme seems to be low-key using Ace as a weapon of sorts. You know, sometimes she's nice about it, asking Spencer to come sing to her son to get him to sleep, or for him to help her calm Ace down when he's being fussy. Esme's also taken great delight in using her little boy kind of as a battering ram to keep Spencer distant from Trina. Lately, though, it almost felt like Esme's given up and is leaving them be. On the surface, that's what it looks like. I don't think Esme has given up at all. I just think she's being much more devious and low key about her end game goal, which is to have Spencer to herself. So like when she asked Kevin Collins to drive her to GH to take Ace in for his doctor's appointment, Spencer was very upset when he saw her there that she didn't notify him, didn't include him in the appointment. And Esme kind of snapped at him and said, Ace is my son and I decide what happens. And then she told Spencer, I don't want you at the doctor's appointment. And she walked away with Ace, and he had no choice but to stay outside. And that's when Kevin gave him a little talking to. And Kevin was quick to point out that Esme was well within her parental rights to exclude him. And that seemed to kind of shake up Spencer a little bit because he has no legal standing where Ace is concerned. He's his brother. That's it. And all signs point to Esme being a fit mother. And then, so he kind of got a little attitude adjustment from Kevin. And then Esme comes out with Ace and reports that he got top marks at his checkup. And Spencer jumped right in to coo and to smile at Ace. And then he happily took off with Esme to head to Kelly's to get a treat for Ace and spend family time together. Kevin was staring at them very intently, like, what am I watching happen here? Kevin is a psychiatrist and he understands human interactions. And this has me wondering if Esme kind of gently pushed Spencer back away from her and Ace so that he would then rebound closer. Maybe Esme has figured out she can't drive a wedge between Spencer and Trina by trying to push them apart. Instead, maybe she needs to lure him closer so she's not the one splitting them. And baby Ace is the perfect bait to use to tempt him away from his gal pal. Obviously, Spencer sincerely loves Trina, but that doesn't mean he's not going to screw things up between them. I fully expect him to. In fact, I suspect Spencer is going to mess up things because he's not a responsible person with goals, dreams, things like that. Right now, his whole reason for living is to spend time with Ace and then to show up and interrupt Trina's work at the gallery or her homework showing up at her dorm room. He doesn't have a grown-up life, and he doesn't seem to have adulting skills, nor does he seem to want to gain them. He's not parenting Ace. To some extent he is, but he's more just playing with his brother, which is fine. But Spencer isn't really a full-fledged adult. Even Esme has a job. Amnesia or not, she's adulting in ways that Spencer isn't. She's working a 9-to-5 at the Invader, and by all accounts, doing an excellent job there. She's bringing home a paycheck. Esme seems very intent on being a good employee and keeping her job working for Alexis Davis, and she wants to be a good mom. But I also think in the back of Esme's mind, she definitely has her eye on Spencer and the idea of them being a little family together with Trina nowhere in sight. Remember, when she and Spencer began dating in boarding school, it wasn't because she saw him and had a crush and wanted to date him. Remember, Esme's father, Ryan Chamberlain, ordered her to go to school there and target Spencer and hook up with him. Now, though, it's very interesting because Esme has this amnesiac blank slate and she is drawn to Spencer romantically. She's attracted to him. It's a genuine interest, unlike what it was before when she was under, marching orders to seduce him. So in terms of Esme and Trina and Spencer, I feel like Trina has these expectations that Spencer needs to grow up and get a life beyond spending money and loafing around. And I think that's going to start to chafe at him. Spencer doesn't like being told to do things. He doesn't respond well to authority. And his full-time job cannot be him as Ace Cassadine's surrogate dad and Trina's boyfriend. That's not a job. Those aren't careers. Those aren't aspirations. Spencer is shiftless and he needs a purpose in his life. And I think Trina is going to push that button and it's going to rub him the wrong way. Even if Spencer doesn't get a wage earning job, he could work at a charitable organization. He could get involved with Christina's charity. He could do some volunteer work. He could literally do anything but he's doing a whole bunch of nothing. I liked it better when Ava Jerome had that chokehold on Spencer Cassadine's trust fund and he was forced to work at Kelly's for pocket money. It was chafing him to work for Cam Weber, and I was there for it. So I do wonder if Trina pressures Spencer to get a real life rather than just being Ace's play date and Esme's co-parent, and her expectations that Spencer, grows up alongside her and learns to adult alongside her. I think that could cause cracks in Sprina. I think that he definitely could chafe against her expectations. And at the same time, I think Esme pushing Spencer back lightly could actually pull him closer to her and Ace. I do not doubt that Trina loves Spencer and he loves her too, but I do not think that Spencer has the emotional maturity to be a full-fledged partner to her, and he doesn't seem interested in growing himself, growing up, growing into, a man that she would want to one day marry. Because how do you introduce him? Oh, this is my husband, Spencer. He's a dilettante. He's a trust fund baby. No, she wants to be able to say, this is my husband, Spencer. He's a lawyer. He's a doctor. He runs a charity organization, something, right? We'll see how it goes. But I think this whole thing could come down to Trina has expectations that Spencer doesn't want to try and meet. Meanwhile, Esme is willing to accept him just as he is. And this could be a very dangerous combination going forward. What do you guys think? Do you see Spencer pulling back from Trina when he feels like she expects him to be something he doesn't want to be? And her expectations, mind you, I think are completely reasonable, but that doesn't mean that Spencer's not going to rebel against them. And that could put it in a position where Trina is almost parenting Spencer, in a way. I think this is all going to keep chafing until it becomes an irritation that could actually pull Sprina apart. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your comments below. Agree, disagree. I love to read them all. I love talking soaps with you guys. Definitely click subscribe if you haven't already. Click a like if you loved or hated this. Just is an interesting conversation. I love talking soaps with you guys every day. Thanks for coming here and chatting with me about GH. This has been Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.